Hello, welcome to Somerset News Network. What a 6 days we've had. Unbelievable. Trump was inaugurated on Monday. He signed over 200 executive orders. He's declared that there's only two sexes. Brilliant. He's got rid of the electric car mandate and said that people can buy the car they want. Why can't we do that here? That would help our economy. If people knew that they had the right to buy the car they wanted and not the car that's being forced on them by the government. I think it's been like a revolution in the United States. After all the shenanigans of all these court cases that they drummed up to try and get Trump wins on a majority and the popular vote. He wins the swing states. And he hits the ground running on Monday. He was signing executive orders on Monday after the inauguration, and then he went and signed another load on Tuesday. Brilliant. Anyway, yesterday, Friday, the 24th of January, he flew down to North Carolina, where they got hit by the hurricane and got flooded out and people lost their homes. Now, FEMA in America is set up to help with natural disasters. FEMA went down and Glenn Beck saw them in the back of a building. Now, people were going and lining up in the front of the building to collect supplies. FEMA were around the back, sat round tables having a picnic. Glenn Beck said, well, what are you doing here? Oh, we're taking names, they said. And then we will give them $850. But if you had a Trump sign outside your house, if it hadn't been swept away, they wouldn't even go in. They bypassed you. Anyway, Trump went to North Carolina and he met the residents. The residents told their story. And one lady had to climb on the roof because of the floods. All their belongings are just washed out. They've moved everything out, they're trying to rebuild, but they can't get supplies in because the bridge over the river has collapsed and it hasn't been rebuilt. Trump is going to send the Corps of Engineers in and they're going to rebuild the roads and the bridges. You know, it's hit the ground running. Brilliant. And the relationship between Trump and the people was good. Then Trump got on his Air Force One and flew to California in the afternoon, yesterday afternoon. He toured the area. He had a helicopter flight around the devastated fires. Then he met with a fireman and they gave him a hat with 47 on it. He then met with the mayor of Los Angeles and a group of, I suppose a round table, of councillors and faith groups and all the rest of it. The reaction between Trump, the First Lady, and Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, is priceless. You don't need to be somebody who can read body language. You can see that both of them, Trump and the First Lady, absolutely hate this lady. They do not like her at all. The residents are saying that they're not allowed to clear up their house. They've got to get a demolition order. And that could take a week to a month. Then they've got to get a permit to rebuild. And that could take 18 months. And Trump saying, you have emergency powers like I've got. Why don't you use? Oh, we are, said the mayor. This is brilliant. He said, we want the water. Because there's no water in the houses. The houses, some of the houses were fitted with sprinklers, and the sprinklers weren't working because there was no water. I said, just mind-boggling. Now, when you go back in history about the water supply in California, in the 1920s, there was a couple of guys who conned the government out of giving them money to bring water down from the north. And they controlled it and made loads of money, and they ended up in jail, I think. Today, one of the water supplies for Los Angeles is owned by billionaires. They've got farms. Their farms have all got water. But the other farms, it's dry as a bone. And Trump points this out, that the water isn't there. So this private company is selling water to Los Angeles, and Los Angeles ain't got it. You know, what's going on? I feel sorry for the people that have lost their homes. I understand a few houses might have had the fires, but not 10,000 acres. You know, they had 50 firemen short because they sacked them because of COVID, because they wouldn't take the vaccine. The fire trucks won't work because they haven't got the parts to fix them. They've cut the budget by 17 million for this part of Los Angeles. They won't let them clear the scrub because of environmentalists. It's like a catalogue of things that have allowed this to happen. We understand that we need water. And if you've got a fire hydrant and there's a fire, you need water to come out of it. There's no way that it should ever go dry. Oh, they were going to pump water to it. But the water pump don't work because they turned off the electricity. Well, why hadn't it got its own generator? It's all little things. You know, when you're in emergency management mode, you figure all these things out. Now, I don't believe these people are dumb. They might be, but I don't think they are. I think it's deliberate. Can't prove it, but I think it's deliberate. There's too many things that went wrong. Now, they all should be sacked. You know, but they're elected officials, so how do you sack them? You know, you'll have to wait to the next election. So they're going to do more damage. Anyway, this is a clip from Fox News with Trump talking to the LA mayor. I'll be back in a minute.
Also on tariffs, I often agree with you on tariffs. But how about no tariffs on building materials for the next 3 years?
No, we'll take a look at that, actually.
Mr.
We'll
President.
take a look. Mayor, please.
Yes. First of all, let me just take the opportunity to officially welcome you to Los Angeles. really appreciate you coming, and especially you come just a few days after your inauguration. So I want you to know that your presence here is very much appreciated. Let me also say that I know you had an opportunity to see the devastation. You've seen the extreme loss, the grief that people are going through here. And we are 100% committed to getting this neighborhood rebuilt again. You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape. We could get people back building as fast as possible. And we're going to continue doing that.
Yeah, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
No, that will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope
That
you're
will
not.
not, you can hold me to it.
There's 4 groups said that.
No.
That would be, they should
No,
be able
that-
to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the case. You know, first we have to take care of, to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste, cleaning things up so that people can start right away. And just like you said, if somebody had their house was destroyed and they're going to rebuild essentially the same, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit higher, they really shouldn't have to go through much of a process. So I want you to know that we are expediting that. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help.
You got it, I told you. You will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
And the resources.
I am aware. Because I met at least 8 groups of homeowners, and I'm much more worried about the fact that they said it's 18 months exactly, and they were devastated. They want to start now. They want to start removing things. They're not allowed to do it now. And you mentioned hazardous waste. Well, the hazardous waste, what's hazardous waste? I mean, you're going to have to define that. We're going to go through a whole series of questions on determining what's hazardous.
Nope.
I just think you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Okay, good.
You can come back and check.
Last night, 18 months. So if that's not the answer, Mayor Bass, what is the answer? Because
Well,
that's what we were all told last night.
Well, and let me just tell you that we are going to do everything we can, slashing regulations, expediting everything so that people can begin the process right away. You know, we have the Disaster Recovery Center on Pico and Westwood. We have building and safety there. People are already contacting the local agencies. We're bringing our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP. Absolutely. Yes. And we will clear the lots, absolutely, in the city and in the county. We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
Is that 18 months? Is it not 18 months? Is it like we that's the answer that we got, and that's what we're all hanging on.
Yes.
So if you're telling us now faster, is it 6 months? Is it? I mean, all of our lives, rents, all this stuff is weighing on this.
6 months is no good.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen, is to clear out the debris. And you know we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can.
You
And
should
they're
let them
able
do
to-
it because
No,
by the
they
time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's
Right.
going to be 2 years.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
That's right.
And, it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people. You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract,
If
and that's going to charge him
individuals want to build-
$25,000 to do his lot. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because you have a very powerful emergency power, and you
Yes.
can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can.
See what I mean? Melania and Trump don't like this lady. They know she's not very good at her job. She's part of the problem, and they know it. Trump is trying to be as diplomatic as he can, but he's laying the law down. It shouldn't take a week. You know, they should be doing it tonight. People aren't allowed to go on their own property. The mayor wants to send in contractors. Hazardous waste might be there. They've got to get an order for demolition. The house has been absolutely destroyed and it's a pile of rubble. How ridiculous can you get? Donald Trump is trying to do his best, but he's got these Democrats who have got blinkers on. They're environmental activists, fundamentalists, if you like, environmental fundamentalists. They won't let them clear the brush from the gardens because they might have bugs and grubs in them. They won't let them have the water because they shut it off because of a fish. There's a lot going on that we ain't being told. And Trump knows it. And Trump's trying to sort it out. Oh, hang on a minute. I forgot something. I gotta wear my mega hat. Yeah, this is what I got it for. My reports on the United States. And my reports on Donald Trump. Now, all my mates, I've been to America twice. I lectured in the Yavapai College in Prescott in Arizona. And I'm still mates with some of the students that were there. And we talk on Facebook. One's got his own ranch where he's got ranges, pistol and rifle. And the other one is making custom rifles up in Montana. I didn't know that he was up in Montana until a few years ago. But 10 years ago, we went up to Montana. I was offered a job. And this is a cracker. I'm a gunsmith. That's what I do. And I do gun fitting. And I did a couple of articles for, I can't remember, I expect it was Countryman's Weekly, on how a gun should fit and gun fitting. Anyway, the guy in Montana said, would I come over and have a chat? Now, a friend of mine, an American customer of mine, is a director of this gun company. And he said, would you like a job and would you go over for an interview? I said, yeah, all right. I thought, be an adventure. So I wanted to see some of America. Now it was Flathead Lake, Montana. Absolutely incredible up in the Rockies. Brilliant. To get to there, I would have to take 4 flights. Fly into America, fly into Denver, fly into Idaho, and then Idaho to Montana. It's going to take me, I think it was going to take me 2 days. But I could take 1 plane. No, sorry, 2 planes. Let's get this right. 2 planes. Fly to Denver. And from Denver, fly to Salt Lake City, which is Utah. Hire a 4x4 SUV. Because I didn't know what the roads are going to be like. Because you drive around the countryside, you've got the tarmac roads, the interstate and the state highways are tarmacked. But you go off of that and you've got dirt tracks. And I didn't know how far I was going or where I was going. So we hired an SUV. We left Salt Lake City and we headed north through Utah to round about Jackson Hole, turn left down to Salmon in Idaho, through Salmon, and there's a river running through the valley along the side of us. We stopped in this battlefield, big whole battlefield in Idaho. And we turned up. It was snow's like 4 foot high. And they cut the road to the building, and we drove up to the building. There was one car there. And there happened to be a lady opening the door. And I said, well, we're travelling through. We've come from England, and we just thought we'd have a look. She invited us in. She was the ranger, and she was looking after the building because of the snow. It was technically closed, but she let us have a walk round and explained about the Nass Price Indians. The Nass Price left the reservation and went all over Montana and Idaho, and the army were chasing them. And they had the little old battlefield. And it was fascinating stuff. Anyway, we got back in the car and went to Montana. And you're going up through the mountains, and the scenery is unbelievable. I thought it was a Christmas tree plantation in the valley. And then we got to a spot where we could see it, and the snow drifts had gone up. It's the top of pine trees sticking out of the snow. That's about 8-10 foot high. We're driving along ice roads, and the snow is above the car. And we're driving on ice. But because they'd been over with tracked vehicles to clear the ice, the tracked vehicles had made it rutted, which had given you traction so you could drive on it, but you had to have a 4x4. And where the road turns off, there's a sign. No Arctics, 4x4s only, and then 4x4s with chains. So we couldn't go down a road where you needed chains, because it was a hire car and they wouldn't let us have them. But we could go down the 4x4 roads. And it was solid ice, but it was rutted. Anyway, we got to Flathead Lake, unbelievable view. And if I can find a photograph of it, I'll put it on here. It was that you come out and you got a panoramic view of Flathead Lake with snow-covered mountains. It was beautiful. Anyway, we got to the gun shop, and when I got there, now I was going to do gun fitting for them. They do country shows in the summer, state fairs and things like that, and they fit guns, and we were going to do gun fitting with them. And they wanted English style gun fitting, which I can do. We met the new CEO of the company. Now, he had been hired between me getting the invite and getting there, which was about 6 months. We sat down and he said, how much money are you going to give us? Money? Nobody talked anything about money. I've come here for an interview for a job. Oh, we were told you were going to invest in the company. So that's what started it off. I didn't get the job and I didn't give him any money. But we had 2 days there and they were as nice as ninepence to me. The gunsmiths there were brilliant. It was only this CEO who was an accountant who I didn't really like, really. Anyway, drove back to Salt Lake City on a plane back home. Brilliant. And we love the States. We toured Arizona and we drove from Salt Lake City to Montana. I love the people. Everybody is glad to see you. They want to know where you came from, what you're doing. You know, we're sat in a bar and people just talk to you. Where are you from? Oh, we're from England. We're just over touring. And it's brilliant. And the people are what I would call Trump supporters now. They're American. They believe in the Second Amendment. You know, we went to one place in Arizona when we were in a bar, and they take their pistols off and just leave the holster and put it in the car, lock it up, because they don't go in the bar with pistols. And we'd sat round talking around the bar, and this guy says to me, "Aren't you carrying?" And I said, "No." Ah, everybody was carrying. It's open carry. You see the holster? A few of them had concealed weapons licenses and holsters under their armpits. But they couldn't understand why I was travelling around the States and didn't have any way to protect myself. You know? But we had a wonderful time. And now Trump is back in power. I think I'd like to go back again. I love the States. I love the people. And I think Trump is the best thing that's happened in years for the United States. 6 days he's been in, and it has been brilliant. The news, you know, you've got news cycles. They can't keep up with what's happening. You know, normally a president would go down to North Carolina and then go back to the White House. Not Trump. Down in North Carolina, on the Air Force One, over to California in the afternoon. And then back home. I expect he was signing more executive orders when he got back home. Absolutely brilliant. And his press conferences. I think we've heard more from a president in 6 days than we heard from Biden in 4 years. He knows how to talk to the press. And he always gives a good answer. He doesn't give them bullshit. Because he's a businessman. He's not a politician. And I think that's what America needed. Anyway, I got my hat. I'm a mega fan. And I'm supporting the United States. And I'm supporting Trump. Anyway, that's for this video. I think I've gone on long enough. Bye bye.